either we're going to agree or one of us is going to have the number one team and the other one's not even going to have them on their list
We're
here.
gonna agree.
But I have the New York Giants here at number one.
Yeah, everybody wants to fire their GM. What about this class, dude? Like, I mean, I'm always standing on the table. I don't know how I ended up as this guy, but I'm always standing on the table. Giants process hasn't been bad. Like, they don't have a quarterback. Not everything's worked out, but I feel like they're looking at things the right way in terms of, a lot of the moves that they've made, like, that get like they publicly criticized for. I understand where they're coming from. And yeah, this class just seems like lights out, man. They got Malik Neighbors. I mean, obviously he looks like the best of the wide receivers in this class so far, which is huge. That was not an easy decision, I think, at that point. I mean, you had a Dunze on the board. I would have taken Neighbors, but I think there were some people that would have taken a Dunze. It wasn't like that was like the obvious pick. You know what I mean? Like, makes sense. So they correctly seem like they've analyzed that, and we'll see. I think a Dunze is still going to be awesome, but Neighbors just watching with him, like, yeah, this guy absolutely should be special. So I think that's huge. Drew Phillips is one of the best defensive players in this class already, playing nickel. Again, that spot and how important it is, just absolutely massive. Tyler Nubin's been a solid starter for them at safety so far this season. Elijah Chapman, nickel rusher, like, can be that guy that comes in and smaller interior guy who gives you that juice on passing downs next to Lawrence. He's also just crazy in the way that he plays, which is what you want next to Lawrence, just somebody who's going to throw themselves into blockers to keep opening things up for Lawrence. So I love that. Tyron Tracy, I said to you last week on the show, I'm like, this guy looks awesome. And I continue to feel that way, that they got an absolute steal in him. So it looks like a potential franchise cornerstone type of class. That's how good it is.
They have a player who's going to be a starter at wide receiver and wide receiver one for them. Player who's going to be starting CB and CB1 for them in the slot. RB1 for them in Tyler Nubin. Starting safety in Tyler Nubin, and then RB1 in Tyrone Tracy, and that's not even considering like what Theo Johnson could develop into for them. Words are hard. And then Elijah Chapman, like you said, who is a great interior defensive line piece for this group. And so anytime that you can get 4 starters for your team, like solidified starters in those first 4 guys that I mentioned, and then have the opportunity to say, yeah, and we got these other rotational guys, and we'll see what happens with them over the next couple of years. I mean, it's going to be a stud class. That's 6 players that I just listed. And the Giants, for as much as they're obviously struggling, it's not a team that's like totally devoid of talent. Like, it's not like, oh, okay, of course they're starters for this team because the rest of the team is cheeks. Like, it's just really good players playing well. So I think hats off to Joe Schoen and the players that he was able to get there. I think that, I have back and forth with Giant fans all the time where I say it doesn't look like it's their season, right? It looks like the Giants could be picking in the top 5 when the year is all said and done. If they're picking in the top 5, do they sort of clean house? Because that'll be year 3 of this organization, and they will be sitting here at the bottom of their division and picking in the top 5. Or how much does the quarterback weigh? Does John Mara and the decision makers for the New York Giants, do they genuinely look at it and like, yeah, okay, we were kind of in a bad spot with Daniel Jones, kind of had to re-sign him. It hasn't worked out. He's been bad. We're going to give you guys at least one more year to go get the quarterback that you want and see what the New York Giants look like in 2025. Maybe that is the case because I like Brian Daboll. And with this class, I've liked more of what Joe Schoen has done at least. And you mentioned the process has been sound. So I think this draft class might save this regime. It looks like it really might save this regime and give them another chance in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't done everything right, but like they tried to take the money and address the offensive line. And for a while they were better.
Right.
You lose your franchise left tackle 2 years in a row and he barely plays. And you already had a quarterback who, you can't throw the ball down the field with this guy, like a quarterback. Like, so it is really limiting. This class is the hope of something new and better. It would be a godsend for them if they picked high. Obviously, I know this quarterback class isn't rumored to be anything great, but just from a process standpoint, like if they could get a quarterback, that obviously change a lot, I think, with the Giants. I think if they could get a quarterback, you would see them compete for one of those last playoff spots in next season. But if they change the regime, I don't know. Especially with Daboll, I think he is a really good offensive mind. Not everything he's done is perfect. I totally get that. But the way he's been able to use Neighbors and get almost out of some of these guys, I think has been exciting. They need an upgrade of the game's most important position.